To prevent the recurrence of scheme in Indian capital market, the government of India has assigned regulatory power to its SEBI. So, Security and Exchange Board of India constituted 1988 as a non-statutory. Later 1992, it became statutory, and for regulating Indian capital market, its headquartered in Mumbai. Which of the following 5-year plan recognize human development as a core all development efforts? It's 8 5-year plan. So the 8 5-year plan was based on the John Miller. It recognized human development as the core of all development efforts, and this plan was a plan for managing the transition from centrally planned economy to a market-led economy, to create employment, check population growth, achieve overall human growth, to encourage the growth, investment, diversification of agriculture, strength infrastructure. Which of the following objective of the Commission for Agriculture Cost and Price? So it is the to protect the interests of the consumer, providing essential agriculture commodity, to stabilize the agriculture price, and to ensure the meaningful real income level for the farmers. So the Commission for Agriculture Cost and Price, known for Agriculture Price Commission, analyze the input cost and recommend the minimum support price, thereby ensuring a meaningful real income level to the farmers, and it help in maintaining the general price level and protect the non-producing consumer from violent fluctuation in the price in food grain. As per the liberalization program and with the view to attract foreign exchange, the government and RBI have devised two scheme and FCNRA A and FCNRA B, which of the two regarding? So it is the under RBI exchange rate fluctuation. Under scheme B, other bank are to meet out the difference in the exchange rate fluctuation. Only scheme A has been withdrawn and both the scheme stand withdrawn now. So third is wrong. Foreign current non-residential depositors scheme started in 1975 to shore up the foreign exchange. Scheme was shut and replaced by FCNR for 1993, and FCNR RBI bore the currency risk while bank bear the risk under the FCNR scheme. It is actually a term deposit that the NRA I can open with banks in India. It has a maturity on minimum 1 year and maximum 5 years. Which of the following among the non-plan expenditure of Government of India? Non-plan expenditure, defense subsidy, interest, and previous plan all expenditure link. All four are the non-expenditures: defense subsidy, all expenditure linked with the previous plan, and the interest payment. Which of the following pairs are correctly matched? So here we see increase in the foreign exchange reserve, monetary expansion, and low import growth, recession. If growth low import recession is not there, so low import is recession in industry. And euro issue, share held by India companies in European countries, and portfolio investment, foreign institutional investment. So 4 is right, 2 is right, 1 is right. So increase the foreign exchange reserve leads to high liquidity and monetary. As we seeing this question, 1 and 4 is right. Okay, so either way A will be answer, is a D will be answer. So now we are checking only 3 options. So euro issue is the shared held by Indian companies in the European country. That's not actually low imports and indicates slowdown, recession in economy. Euro issue means the issue which listed an European stock exchange. So subscription for same may come from any corner of the world other than India. Euro issue was not the shares held by Indian companies in European countries. For institutional investor included in the portfolio investment made in the country. What is the annual rate aim at the 8 5-year plan, it's 5.6%. So the annual growth rate among targets are 5.6%. Corporation tax is levied by the union and shared by the union and the states. So corporation tax is levied by the union and shared by the union and state. It is the union list and shared as per the provision 270. So toll, sale, land revenue, tax on the vehicle are some of the tax that are levied and appropriated by the state. Tax levied by the center and collected appropriated by the state. Stamp duty on the bill, exchange, check, promissory notes, and all that. So tax that is levied and collected by the center, the distributed between center and state. It's include the tax and duty and the union later except by the mention in the article 268, 268(1), 269 and 271. The sharing of revenue is prescribed by the president on the recommendation of Finance Commission. Which of the following constitute the World Bank? So International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, International Finance Corporation, International Development Association, International Monetary Fund. So World Bank, following constituent World Bank. So International Monetary Fund is not there, okay, but International Development Association, International Finance Commission, and International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, all, and IFC, IBRD, IDA, MEGA, and ICIAD, International Center for the Settlement of Investment Dispute. Agriculture income tax is assigned to the state government by it's the Constitution of India. Agriculture income tax, it's assigned to the state government by the Constitution of India. The agriculture income tax is assigned to the state government by the Constitution of India. Section 2 Income Tax Act define agriculture income under any rent or revenue derived from the land used for the agriculture purpose. Which of the following is not an instrument of selective credit control in India? So, regulation of consumer credit, rationalization of credit, margin requirement, and variable cost reserve ratio. Which one of the following is not an instrument selective credit control in India is a variable cost reserve ratio? Which one of the following is not instrument credit control? Regulation of credit, yes. Rationing of credit, yes. Margin requirement, yes. But variable cost reserve ratio is not there. Selection of qualities credit control is used to direct credit to some operation and distinct ration to some others depending upon the priorities and the purpose. These are total quantum of credit doesn't change. Regulation of requirements, a selective credit control instrument, and other have the bank rate, CRR, SLR, repo rate, and operation instrument and monetary fund. So next one is, which one of the following is the true regarding the Jawahar Rozgar Yojana? Under the scheme, 30% of the employment generated is reserved for women. So it's not right. It's true regarding that. It's right. Jawahar Rozgar Yojana under the Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, by dissolving National Rural Employment Program and Rural Landless Employer Guarantee Program, it is two sub-schemes, namely Indira Awas Yojana, Million Well Scheme. Since it has been replaced by Jawal Gram Samriddhi Yojana, contributed creating durable rural infrastructure and improving the standard of living of poor. The Narasimham Committee for Financial Sector Reforms have suggested reduction in this is the CRR, LRR, SLR, and priority sector lending. So, the Narasimham Committee established 91 took into all aspects of the financial system. Recommendation: SLR should be reduced 25, CRR 10% over periods, and bank would have more funds to deploy in remunerative loans asset due to SLR CRR. It redefined the priority sector to include the marginal farmer, tiny and small business, transport sector, village cottage industry. Its recommendation target 10% for aggregate credit to priority sector. Recommendation: deregulation of interest rates so that bank can themselves set the interest rate, and NPA, non-performing assets, and recommendation for transparency in the banking system. One of the reasons for India occupation structure remaining more or less the same over the year has been that its investment pattern has been directed toward capital intensive industry. So India occupation structure remains more or less the same over a year because the investment is mostly directed toward the capital intensive industry, and a less emphasis is given to the small scale and cottage industry. So investment is mostly directed towards the capital intensive industry. The price fluctuation of four script in the stock market in the fourth quarter of a year are shown in the table below. Four different investors had following portfolio of investment in the four companies throughout the year. So it is the investor one has met the best investment. So 10%, 2%, 1%, and 20%. And stock market, like it's 10, 15, 10, 12, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 5, 5. So which of the following student correct? So investor one has made the best investment, as we are seeing here. Okay, the main reason for the low growth rate in India is its high capital output ratio is the low growth rate, because capital output ratio is very important, and if it's high then growth will be less. So capital output ratio, the number of units of capital required to produce a unit output over a given period of time. Lower growth rate in India, and in spite of high rate of saving and capital formation is high capital ratio. Next is the larger source of financing the public sector outlay of the 8 5-year plan come from its deficit financing. So the largest source for the financing the public sector outlay of 8 5-year plan come from the deficit financing, which is a policy bringing the bridging the gap between the government expenditure and revenue. The new EXIM policy is the 5-year. The foreign trade policy India guided by export import non-EXIM policy. Industrial Finance Corporation of India, Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation of India, Industrial Development Bank of India, and Unit Trust of India. So all are established. First is Industrial Finance Corporation, then Indian Credit and Investment Corporation, then UTI, it's there, and then Industrial Development Bank. It's the last. The following table show the percentage distribution revenue expenditure of Government of India 1989 and 1994 is interest payment 27.7 and 38.7 based on the period spent more and more on interest payment. It is showing now. So Indian economy is poor share because the central government continue to be under the pressure to spend more on interest payment. It's sure. Which one of the following is correct regarding the stabilization structural adjustment at two component of the new economic policy? The structural adjustment is a gradual multi-step process, while stabilizing is a quiet adaptation process. So structural adjustment gradual multi-step process, and while stabilization is quick adaptation process. The new economic policy was initiated with an objective of stabilization structure in the Indian economy to overcome the problem balance of payment, high fiscal deficit, double-digit annual inflation rates. Stabilization were the short-term measure intended to correct some of the problem in the balance of payment and to bring the high inflation under control. One of the other hand structural reforms term measure aim improving the efficiency of the economy, increasing the international competition. An important policy instrument economic liberalization is reduction in import duty on capital goods. Reduction in import duty would help the local entrepreneurs to improve the technology. So both are true. Reduction in import duty capital goods will be helped in local entrepreneur to improve the technology to face the global market, and reduction in import duty on capital goods will lead to lesser cost of capital. Next is promotion of the trade. Now table is showing, it's table showing manufacturing goods. So it's asking about best indicator of the trend is increase in the share of manufacturing products. Okay, we can see here. Now next, Hawala transaction relate to payment of Hawala transaction is receive rupee against overseas currency and vice versa without going through the official channel. That is called the Hawala. Now next is which one of the following were the aim behind the setting up of the World Trade Organization? So World Trade Organization is it's a promotion of free trade, resources flow across the country, protection of intellectual property rights, managing the balance of trade between the different countries. The emerging standing bloc in the world such as the NAFTA, ASEAN and like as expected to it's promote the free trade on the line laid down by WTO. So NAFTA, ASEAN, other regional trading blocs in the world promotes free trade on the line laid down by the WTO. These trading blocs help to free trade as a barrier to trade were reduced and eliminated among participation nations. So North American Treaty Agreement consisting Canada, Mexico and United came to be existence association of a nation. and accelerate economic growth, and Malaysia, Laos, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore. Okay. Now, one of the important goal of economic liberalization policy is it will be attract more foreign capital inflow into the India. So the convertibility refer to the freedom of the holder of a currency to freely convert it into any other foreign currency. The current account convertibility is largely restricted to the export and import of goods and services, though certain associated aspects are also permitted under it, like remittance and to their trends relative in India. Convertibility of investment and borrowing abroad comes under capital account convertibility Tarapur Committee. Full account convertibility for both current and capital account convertibility. Presently in the India there is full current account convertibility, some exceptional, but there is no full account convertibility. Full convertibility of Indian rupees will be attract more foreign investment. Now question number 28. In the India, rural income are generally lower than the urban income. Which of the following reason account for this? So a larger number of farmer literate and know little about the scientific agriculture, and price of primary products are lower than those of manufacturing products. Investment in agriculture has been low. So all of three will be the answer. Now, through Indian national income has gone up several fold since 1947, there has been no marked improvement in the per capita income. Sizable proportion of the population of India is still living below the poverty line. Both are true, but not giving the explanation. They are fantastically diverse. They speak hundred of language, and they are comprised core of ethnic groups. So maybe it is APEC. So APEC upcoming economy, they are half of surface Earth and home to the 2/5 of world's population. So the APEC, Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, is what's foundation 1989 with a secretariat Singapore. The present membership APEC 21 Pacific Rim countries. APEC promote free trade throughout the Asia Pacific region. It has among the member developed economy like USA, Japan, Canada, Australia. Also emerging economy like China, Indonesia, Thailand, Mexico. Since APEC consists member from East Asia and Southeast Asia, Oceania. Which of the following is the commodity export to India by arid and semi-arid country of Middle East? It is the fruits and palm oil from the arid and semi-arid country of Middle East. Fruits and palm oil. Consider most international agency which fund develops program in India. Intergovernmental bilateral agreement mainly provides. It provides technical assistance, soft loan, grant not required to be paid, and food assistance to alleviate poverty that not provided. Food assistance is not provided by most international organization. Now, a redistribution of income in a country can be best both through it can be progressive taxation combined with regressive expenditure. So we can progressive taxation system and regressive the expenditure. Now next, so this investment of the share is, it's a Rangarajan committee, and industrial sickness Omkar Goswami committee. Tax reform is the Raja Chalaiya committee, and reform in insurance sector is Malhotra committee. One of the important agreement reached in the ministry conference WTO refer to it's a commercial commerce in information and technology. So commerce and information technology was one of the important agreement reached in 1996 ministerial conference of WTO Singapore. Other important issue taken by the labor standard investment and competition and international trade of textile. Human Development Index is national income per head in US dollars, HDI, life expectancy, birth and national income per head US dollar. So it's health, education and standard of living, three parameters are there. Okay, now next is the number of industry for which industrial licensing is required have now been reduced to, it's now 6 only. Distribution of bearing, alcohol drinks, cigars, cigarettes, electronics, aeroplane and defense, industrial explosive, hazardous chemical and drug and pharmaceutical. The sum of which of the following constituent broad money is India? Broad money is the currency with public demand deposit with bank, time deposit with bank and other deposit with the RBI. So the currency with public demand deposit with bank, time deposit with bank and other deposit with RBI. So broad money is in the constitute M1 plus time deposit and commercial bank, and M1 includes currency with public, demand deposit with bank, and other deposit with RBI. Narrow money is the most liquid part of the money supply because the demand deposit can be withdrawn anytime during the banking hour. Time deposit on the other hand have a fixed maturity periods and hence cannot be withdrawn before expiring of the periods. When we add the time deposit into the narrow money, we get the broad money, and which is denoted M3. M3 equals to narrow money plus time deposit of public with the banks. Narrow money and time deposit with the public bank. M1 is the which is M1. We get broad money, and this is all about. Next one is consider the following graph. So this graph, which of the following valid conclusion? So whenever the reason of favoring market revival on the 12th plan, it appeared to be the relevant only to non-MNC company. So non-MNC company will be like reason favoring market revival on the 12th plan. 12th day appear the relevant only to the non-MNC companies, because composite index is sometimes down then again up, rise and are consistently declining, given therefore the revival of 12 days is relevant to non-MNC only. So match the following. Iron ore is from Japan, leather goods are from Russia, tea is from UK, and cotton fabric from USA. Now next is India inflation is measured by wholesale price index. In India, inflation measured wholesale price index, and under the this paper is like two older papers. Okay, so we will change this parameters also. Place the mechanisms or agreement on monetary policy framework under which CPI is to be targeted RBI between range 2 to 6% annual basis. Thus place WPI based inflation has been made to ensure rates of inflation for monetary policy purpose. So India's inflation is wholesale price index. This paper may be older. Match the following. Rashtriya Mahila Kosh is the meeting credit needs of the poor women. Mahila Samriddhi Yojana, it's the promotion of saving among the rural women. Indra Mahila Yojana, it's a education for women's equality. And Mahila Samakya program, empowerment of women. Scheme for urban micro enterprises, urban wage employment, and housing and shelter upgradation are part of Nehru Rozgar Yojana. So scheme for urban micro enterprises, urban wage employments, and housing and shelter upgradation are part of the Nehru Rozgar Yojana. So the urban micro enterprises, urban employment, and housing and shelter upgradation for the Nehru Rozgar Yojana. Next is the minimum alternative tax was introduced in the budget of the Government of India for the year of 1996 to 97. Minimum alternative tax was introduced for the first time. The budget for the year 96 and 97 that was introduced to curb the practice of the divides and issuing bonus share for efficient tax planning and leading to their skipping the next tax. So Kelkar committee wanted MAT to be the abolition. Now the MAT rate the 18.5. Some time back the Government of India decided to decide white goods industry. What is that? Items purchased for the conspicuous consumption. Okay, next is the ministry index in the sum of the country unemployment inflation rate. The higher the index, more miserable the country to live. So this is about none. So Britain is the most miserable, no. Inflation rate in Spain is less than Belgium, no. And Italy, France seem to have almost identical employment rate, no. And the higher rate misery index, the higher the inflation rates, no. So lower the high misery rates, higher the inflation rate. So all of the above are not true. The emergence of the economic globalism does not imply the decline of social ideology. The ideology of socialism believed to universalism and globalism. So both are true, and giving the reasons also. Which of the following non-plan expenditure is subsidy, interest payment, defense, maintenance expenditure, infrastructure created? Infrastructure is also included in the non-plan expenditure. Subsidy, yes. Interest, yes. Defense, yes. And maintenance expenditure for infrastructure created previous plan. That 4 are right. National income is the net national product at factor cost. So national income is the net national product at the factor cost. The supply side economy lay greater emphasis on point of view of producer. Supply side economy lay greater emphasis on the view of the producer, where the demand side economy lay emphasis on the interest of the consumer. Supply side for the producer and demand side for the consumer. The United States of America has threatened to ask the World Trade Organization to apply sanctions against the developing country for the non-observance ILO convention. The United States of America itself has adopted and implemented those ILO conventions. So both A and R, but R is not the correct explanation of A. So the United States of America threatened to ask the World Trade Organization to apply sanctions against the developing country for the non-observance of ILO convention, and the United States of America itself has adopted implemented the ILO convention. According to the Meadow, if the present world population, industrialization, pollution, food production and resource depletion continue unchanged 100 years, so human poverty index was introduced in the Human Development Reports 1997. A consumer is said to be the equilibrium if he is able to fulfill the needs of given level of income. A consumer is said to be the equilibrium if he is able to fulfill his needs for given level of income. It is state of balance achieved by the end user for products. It refers to the amount of goods and service they can purchase given their present level of income and the current level of price. Consumer equilibrium allow a consumer to obtain the more satisfaction possible from their income. So next is consider the following here. Demand for the goods service provided by the country concerned, stability of the government of the concerned country, economic potential of the country in question of this statement. So it asking the select the correct. Price of it any currency international market is decided by World Bank? No, World Bank not decides. But economic potential of country in question of these statements or no. Demand for goods and service and stability of the government concerned. So price of currency international market is defined by demands provided by the country and the stability of the governments. And World Bank is vital source of financial and technical assistance around the world. It has no relation with price of currency international market. Price currency determined like by demands and supply. Demand for the currency created by the factor and export. Who wants to buy? Investment stability is also important factor, as unstable government may hamper the trade and investment. Which one of the following region of the world supply and maximum of the important commodity? So it is the Europe. Europe is the region that supply the maximum of our important commodity in the terms of value. Next is eco-mark. Eco-mark is environmental friendly. Eco-mark is given to the Indian products that are environment friendly. This certification mark is issued by Bureau of Indian Standards. This marking scheme started in 1991 to increase the awareness among the consumer towards the reducing adverse impact of environment. Capital account convertibility is that the Indian rupee can be exchanged for the major currency for the purpose of trading financial assets. So capital account convertibility Indian rupee imply that the Indian rupee can be exchanged for any major currency, not for the purpose of trading finance asset. India presently does not have full capital currency. If the Indian rupee can be exchanged for any major currency for purpose of trade in goods and service, it is called the current account convertibility. India presently has fulfilled the account convertibility India rupee with the FEMA. The economist who was associated with the WTO draft document is A.K. Sen. The A.K. Sen was associated with the WTO draft document. He is an Indian economist who was awarded Nobel Prize in Economic Science for his contribution welfare economy. Economic survey in India published officially every year. Ministry of Finance and Government of India. So which of the following current sequence of this? So it is the A. It's a decreasing order of given currency in terms of their value in Indian rupee. So this okay. Now the bank are required to maintain a certain ratio between their cash in hands and total assets is SLR, statutory liquidity ratio. So the stage liquidity ratio is the tax that bank maintains between the cash in hands and total asset. It may be kept in the form of cash, calls and government security. The current price index is nearly 300. This means weightage means of price of certain item has increased 3.3 times. Which of the following is the correctly matched? Is Dow Jones New York, Hang Seng Seoul, and FSTA is London. So Hang Seng is not from Seoul. Hang Seng is New York. Hang Seng is not Hong Kong. Now, tourism industry in India quite small compared to the many other countries in terms of India potential and size. Which of the following statements correct to this regard? So in India, the infrastructure required attracting tourism is inadequate. Tourism is quite small in India compared to many countries because in India the infrastructure required attracting the inadequate. Consider the following statement. Its statement is about lack of saving to invest, lack of technology, limited purchasing power, and industrial India to extent is constrained, lack of adequate entrepreneurship. So like all of four will be there, but there is lack of entrepreneurship, leadership in business. So first is like lack of saving, lack of technology, lack of purchasing power is the reason for the India, and we have enough amount of entrepreneurship and leadership. Which one of the following statement regarding the levying, collecting and distribution of income tax is correct? So it said the union levy, collect and distribute the proceed of income tax between the itself and the states. The union levy, collect, distribute the net tax between the itself and state. Article 270 Constitution contain the process of sharing of tax between the center and state. However, actual sharing of tax including the income tax. Next is the regional disparity in India are high and have been rising in recent years because there is persistent investment over time only in select local and some area are climatically less conducive. Some area continue to face little or no gradient transformation. Some area face continuous political instability. So fourth is not answer. Some area are agroclimatic less conducive, some continue to face little or no gradient transformation, and there is persistent investment over time only in select. Some area face the political instability, that is no. So investment regional disparity because of some reasons. From the balance sheet of company, it is possible to determine the size and composition of the assets and liability. So balance sheet is the company. It's possible to determine the size and composition of the assets and liability of company. Balance sheet is the financial statement of company which include asset, liability, equity, capital, total debt at the point of time, and balance sheet includes asset on one side and liability on other. For the balance sheet to reflect the true picture, liability, assets and should tally. So next is economy survey in India is presented every year in Parliament by the Department Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, Government of India. Economic survey presented. Economic survey circulated alongside the budget, and however 1964 onwards it was declined from the budget. So now next one is the product of life cycle from the inception to determine is shown. The graph is it's about the 1432. So one is like introduction, 2 is the maturity, 3 is growth, and 4th is product development. Okay, so B is the answer. A is the 1. A is the product development. B is the 4 is introduction. First is the product development, then introduction, and then 3 is the growth, and 4th is the maturity is the last stage, and 3 is the growth. Okay, now the farmer are provided credit from a number of sources for their short and long term needs. A primary agriculture cooperative society, commercial bank, and RRB and private lenders. Okay, so these are the main source. Now next one is consider the following small scale.